gentlemen, welcome back to the Marshal Kramer Show. I am Marshal Kramer, and this is my show. How about that? If you're just listening, I just turned on for the first time my LED lights on my new mount for my beautiful Christmas present, the Marshal Kramer Show poster here. I got that from my friend Brandon Abrahamson and roommate Abe's. You've seen him plenty of times. I think he was on the last podcast, but he's been on many, many, many more. So thank him for that. It's a thoughtful gift, and it's super dope. We've had it for a while. I think it's been on the last few episodes, but now I finally got the mount finished and got those LEDs, baby. Yeah, they're pretty dope. I think that's super dope. I like it. I think it's super cool. Anyway, Marshal Kramer Show, welcome back if you are returning. And if you are new, the Marshal Kramer Show, quick gist, right? Young man, it's a week till my birthday, about to turn 23. Life has up until now, and I imagine for the rest of my life will leave me with a lot of questions. And this is where I sit down and talk about them. I either talk about it with myself and do a quick monologue, maybe about 30 minutes. And then sometimes I sit down with people and have a dialogue discussion with my friends, and we talk about funny stuff, whatever. We keep it kind of lighthearted. We keep it silly, but we also have a serious tone, and we talk a lot about psychology and philosophy and just trying to figure out questions. I don't know anything more than myself. I know a lot about myself, still not even close to an expert, but I do know a lot about myself, and that's why I try and talk about me and in my perspective, and in hopes that maybe you can relate, process what I'm saying, and then figure out your stuff for your own self, or maybe you relate to something that I'm talking about and you see it in someone else that you love and you want to share it with them, whatever. But questions today, I've had a question for a while, right? And it's been bothering me, and my whole life. It's one thing I've really, 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 really struggled with, and that was wasted time. If you're a fan of the Beatles, you know who John Lennon is. If you're not even a fan of the Beatles, you probably know who John Lennon is, or was, I should say. And he had a quote once. I don't know if it his own words or just regurgitated from something he heard before, and he said it his own way. But time you enjoyed wasting is not wasted time. Sounds super simple. Sounds super new age, hippie, XYZ. But I'm never a big fan of those memes. I'm never a big fan of psychological memes, inspirational memes, philosophy memes, just like one-line proverbs. It's like there's so much more in depth. But sometimes that's how I like to start these shows is like a one-liner, or, even if I don't bring it up, it's something I've been thinking about, and then I'm going to, take a deep dive into what those words possibly mean, for myself. So, this actually came up very recently. I've graduated college, my bachelor's at least. I might go back and do other stuff, right? Graduated university, and now it's time for me to step into this quote-unquote adulthood, right? Where you have real bills, you got, large rents, all these different things that my expenses went 4 times as much as they usually were when I was in college because, granted, I had a lot paid for, but my expenses went through the roof. And I was always wondering about wasting time. I gotta be so constructive. This is a real life now. I got a real life to worry about. I got things to actually do. I can't be sitting around. I can't be, having fun, quote unquote, right? I can't be wasting time. Every time's gotta be productive. And very recently, about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I was hanging out with my best friend, Jose Bu. He's been on the show a few times too. And we were in my parents' cabin, and we were just watching football. Something I haven't watched since junior year regularly, a junior year of high school. So for me, that was 6 years ago. I haven't regularly watched sports since high school, and since my senior year of high school. And I know the reason exactly behind that is that was the exact same time that I started wanting a bigger career. I started making videos, right? And I started, working, having an actual job, high school job. I was doing school. I wasn't playing sports anymore, XYZ, but I wanted to start taking my life seriously, and I had big goals that I thought I had to work towards. You have to work towards them, but I had these big goals that I thought, you have to spend every single hour. It's about your goal. It's about success. It's about XYZ. And it's first with that goal, right? It's all relative. Where you want to be. If you want to be that Elon Musk type of guy, which I have no interest in, look at his life and look at where he's got, right? He's worked every day for years, decades, right? All day, 16-hour days, sleeping in offices. But he got where he got. I don't need $300 billion. If you do, hey man, rock on, and you do you, baby boo. I don't need $300 billion, so I don't need to put in that type of work. Anyway, we're watching sports, and we start talking about it. And he hasn't watched sports in many years too. I'll share that quick about him. And he basically says to me, and he has the same mindset as I. I think we talked about it before when we talked about the Enneagram test. We're both an Enneagram number 3. It means we're achievers. We're success-oriented people. We attach a large part of we attach a large part of our identity to our successes and the things we check off and we accomplish, right? We rank ourselves among the rest of our family, culture, society, based on our achievements and our accolades. And that's just how our brains work. And I don't think it's a chosen thing. I think that might be a big nurture thing. I don't think it's a chosen thing. It might be nurture in nature, but I just don't think it's really chosen. I think it's just what it is, it is. And we have to combat with it. So he doesn't like to watch sports either. So we're sitting there, we're watching some football, and he starts talking. He goes, Marsh, I really like watching football. He goes, I've always wanted to be on the field, and I was the same way. It's tough to watch what we're trying to do because we want to be there so bad. It makes me itch. Joe Rogan once said on his podcast, he said, do you want to be inspired to perform? Go watch a performance. He's like, my greatest moments of inspiration and motivation to do comedy is when I'm watching somebody else kill on stage doing a stand-up set. So just like that. We started learning that. We grew out of our little egos, saying like, we got to be the ones in the goddamn field. And we always were like, for a long time, we're like, dude, these kids on the NFL field, they're our age now. Jalen Hurts only a year older than us. That's all we should be. And something like that. And when I think like that, every single moment that is not working towards progression, towards that goal, is wasted time. So for me, every single second for this last few years, it's been this podcast has been my main goal, right? Of trying to do this full time and be successful in this. Every single second that's not preparing, writing, performing, setting up, editing, and then posting, and then marketing. So making clips, trying to find new guests, all these other things that literally, if I wanted to, literally I could fill up 60, 80, 120 hours a week doing if I really, really wanted to. But I don't. I don't want that at all. And maybe it's all a relative thing. And, if you want to be, again, someone super, super, super successful, like uber successful, $300 billion successful, you don't have that free time. And maybe once you get there, then you get the free time. You're like, I'm going to sacrifice all my free time for these next 20 years. So then whatever. It's all perspective. But what I'm talking about here is wasted time. When your goal is to enjoy life, which majority of people's are, and it's my new goal. Hey, Marsh, what do you want to be when you're older? Happy. All right? Hey, sounds douchey, sounds super new aged, sounds super hippy jippy. It's not. Happiness is what I want. That is my goal. I'm listening to all these people, all of these artists and comedians and actors and producers and writers and directors that come on all these podcasts I listen to. They could be lying to me, but I bet they're not. And they're lying to the viewers. I bet they're not. Your success is not going to fix all your problems. Whatever, if that's what you decide to attach yourself to. It is these things that I thought would go away, right? Or I think are going to go away, right? It's not going to. And I'm taking their word for it. I'm taking their word for it because the little successes I've had in life, right, where I am now, from where I was at 16 to where I thought I'd be, right, when I was 16 to where I thought I'd be now, I thought a lot of problems would have been solved. You know what I'm saying? I'm away from my parents. I got freedom. I can do what I want, when I want. I got all these little things, man. I can take care of myself. All these things when I'm 16, I'm like, yeah, when I have a car, my own house, man, I'll be good. I'll be living life. I got a good job, man. I'll be rich. I'll be so happy. And it's like I am happy, but like it's not because of any of those things. That's because I've worked on myself and I've changed my perspective and I've self-reflected. That this podcast is not a self-help podcast. Maybe it's under the umbrella of self-help, but this podcast is called a self-reflection podcast. I label it that. It's just a verbal dialogue. I said a verbal diary. I said it a million times. It's just me regurgitating my thoughts and what I've been thinking about recently, right? What I've been struggling with and thinking through. But, it's me. It's my mental efforts to get better. And it's not just me. It's me taking the initiative, right? First step in solving a problem, admitting there is one. And then the next step, in my opinion, is social support, help around you. And that's, I said, I patted myself in the back a few episodes ago because the reason I am me now, this me now, and I can't wait to see the next Marshal, a continuous evolution of myself. It's those around me that are really doing it, right? They're the ones helping me, talking to me, working it through with me and XYZ, but they can't do that if I don't ask them to do that. So it's the working through things, and it's just finding perspective and finding humility and gratitude that can really change your life in the positive way that you think maybe these arbitrary goals are going to are going to give you. And you know what? That might be the same thing there. Another proverb, another douchey line. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. That's the exact same thing there, It's not about, it's not winning the Super Bowl that's going to make you having that legit trophy. It's about the representation of that winning. It meant you were disciplined. It meant you worked hard. You sacrificed yourself. You gave it your all. It's all these things. It's fulfillment. It's fulfillment. It's not the stupid little fucking trophy. It's what that trophy represents. And that's kind of what I've just changed in my whole thought about. I'm like, I have to change what my successes represent. I don't need to be $300 billion rich to have this success of in my mind that you're the man, Marsh. You benefit society. You're a good person in and out, and you're nice to your friends. You're nice to your family. XYZ. Blah blah blah. I realize that can come from many, many, many other ways. You can discipline yourself in many other ways that doesn't lead to you getting $300 billion. And anyway, so that whole mental shift of mine, by realizing that that's not what I want is this arbitrary goal. What I want is happiness. What I want is love. What I want is friendship and camaraderie. That's the true things. That's the only 4 things I want in this world. Right, Marsh? And I hope it's the same way when I'm 35 years old and I got my first 2 kids, maybe my only 2 kids. I don't know. Got some kids, right? And someone goes, you're Julia's wife? Are you Julia's husband? I go, yeah. I go, what are you? Asking about my profession. I go, I'm happy. I'm Marshal Kramer. I'm happy. Good to meet you. Hey, if I'm a director or I'm a podcaster, hey, it's great to attach yourself to your work if you love your work. But the first thing I want to identify as, father and whatever. But even that's so, because I'm a father and because I'm a husband at that time, I imagine I want to be happy. It's happiness I want to achieve. And yes, again, it's not all the time, okay? But it is all the time. Even in the shitty moments when you got to work, you got to have a long day. But what works for me in those moments, in the times of my lows, right? In the times of my downs, is just to remember, hold the perspective of, what am I fucking doing this for? What am I doing this for? They always talk about remember your why. It's that simple. I really do think it's that simple. And I use the word simple because I really do believe this in life. Happiness, love, success, anything good, anything, all of it, fulfillment. It's really simple. I really do think the paths and the roads are simple. I really do think they're straightforward. I don't think they're winding mazes. I think they're open roads, and there's obstacles, but you can see them. There's not really big surprises. Humans have lived and exist for many, 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 many years. I think we're starting to figure out the traps. You're going to find that road. However, just because that road is straightforward, just because that road is simple, does not make that road easy. It does not make that road undifficult to navigate. It's very difficult to navigate those roads and navigate those paths, right? So, the same sense I'm talking about here. Remember, it's simple. Remember, it's simple to remember your why. But now, in the moment of your lows and you're remembering your why, it's not going to be easy to feel it. You got to fight your brain and your body, right? It's like, I always said that, there's a difference between knowing something and then feeling something. You know what I'm saying? I know, when I was younger, I've heard, it's stupid to touch the fucking hot oven. Or the hot stove. The stove is hot. It's going to burn your hands. I know that. But Marsh has got to feel it. I got to feel it at least once. You know what I'm saying? I got to feel it. Okay, shit. Okay, I got to be I got to confirm that shit burns and that's not a good thing to do. So I go, all right, so there's the difference between knowing and feeling. It's the mind and body. You got to work with them together. So, you have to remember your why, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of times that when you're feeling low and you're starting this initiative of to remember your why every time, remember your why. It's going to be very hard to do. It's not going to be easy, but it is simple. You go, well, how can I get through this low? Remember your why. Done. It's that straightforward. Not easy to accomplish. And that's where I think like this difference between, again, I really don't, whatever methods and philosophies work for you, it works for you. But these not toxic mess, but these alpha guys, you
gotta run 20 miles a day. I'm talking 17 hours. You want sleep? Fuck sleep. You get sleep when you're in the grave.
All that different shit. That's not what works for me. And I think that's very, very, very destructive to not only your body, but your mind and soul. If they just did it in a different way, the way I'm trying to do it, I'm basically trying to tell you, bro, that any change that I've ever made in my life
fucking sucks.
Even when I'm every change I make in my life, I ultimately am making it because I want a better outcome, right? But they fucking suck in the beginning. They're so hard. And when people tell me that,
you just gotta do it.
And then every day I wake up and I just do it.
Just do it!
And nothing changes for the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. No one tells you that it's going to take a while. No one tells you that this is a very, very hard journey. This is a very hard thing to change. Anything is very hard to change. And it's difficult. It's scary. It's lonely. It's frightening because you're just telling us to do it.
Just do it!
I've always been this learner. I told my parents, I've always been this learner. I have to know the reason behind why what we're doing. If I don't know the reason behind why what we're doing, I'm out. I give up. Why are we doing it? Why do you want me to bag it this way? Why do you want me to drive this way? Why do you want me to deliver it this way? Anything. Why? I need to know the why and the meaning behind it. So when they say all these fucking things that I fall victim to, and I do like, again, I utilize these proverbs because these lines, it does make sense. I just said it. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It makes a lot of sense, and when you take a deep dive into it, it's very meaningful. You're like, oh, the destination is just a representation of the journey. Okay, it's a representation of everything you made. Oh, all right, cool. Don't just say that to somebody. Maybe it works for some people. I don't think it does because it's just like NOS. Motivation and inspiration are like NOS. It's not gasoline, and it's definitely not oil. It's that little extra boost, but it's not. Gasoline is your discipline. It's your willpower, and then your oil is just like your cognitive. Oil is keeping everything lubricated, so it's your ability to prioritize. You'd be like, all right, it's time to kick it into high gear. All right, now it's time to rest and settle down. We gotta recover mentally, physically, emotionally, X, Y, Z. But it's not just go. It's like, why are we going? Stop. Why are we going? Why are we running that way? Please just tell me why we're running that way, and then, hey, let me make that choice for myself. Then, if I agree that that's the way we should be running. So I just don't like that. But I've came to that. Going back to the beginning, right? I've came to that conclusion on wasting time, that sports are not a waste of time. Sports are not a waste of time, and I've said sports are a waste of time for 6 years. I just thought they were. They were a fucking waste of time because they're a waste of time to me. And I think I said the same thing about video games. I don't think they are. They're not. Because if I'm truly being a pessimist here or a nihilist, I'm not a nihilist. I have nihilistic thoughts. I have nihilistic perspectives. I'm not suicidal, folks. I'm just, some things don't have meaning to me. Some things don't have purpose, and our existence is one of them. And in my opinion, I respect yours too. Sports is not a waste of time because of what they give to everybody. And not just the people involved in acting in the sports, coaching the sports, performing, right? There's people who have so many jobs from those sports. Video editors. Me, I have jobs from sports. I've literally that's how I made my money this last summer, and I'm going to make it again this summer is sports videos and stuff. So they're not a waste of time. It's like, if they were a waste of time, Marsh, if they truly were a waste of time, why are they the biggest thing on this earth? And why do every Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, parents who have kids, that's what they're doing. They're doing sports. Sports are these great things. Kobe Bryant's big thing about sports with kids where, it's the great way to teach you life lessons. It's fun. And kids enjoy it. Kids enjoy their own subjective sports. And you usually work as a team. Even if you have an individual sport like wrestling, you usually wrestle with a team. There are team aspects to wrestling. But I guess tennis too. What's an individual? Gymnastics. What's it like an individual? Wrestling's a great one because I know you have team points, but you're never wrestling in a tag team match like WWE. So yeah, wrestling's a great one. But it's not a waste of time. It really isn't a waste of time. It makes people so happy. It gives so many people purpose. There's so much creative outlets from that. Again, life lessons. You're learning motivation, discipline, communication, teamwork, XYZ. So it can't be a waste of time, Marsh. Calm down, bro. And who are you to say it's a waste of time? I'm not here to say anything's a waste of time. Because again, if I'm being true to my word, that it's all purposeless, then hey man, spend it any time or any way that you want, bro. And I'm gonna say this for the girls. I can't imagine there's too many girl viewers here, but makeup's the same way. I've lost it. I'm done. Makeup is not a waste of time. And getting involved in beauty, Kylie fucking Jenner's a billionaire at 23 now. She was at 21. She was a billionaire at 21 through makeup. It's obviously not something that is liked by little. It's used by almost every girl. Guys use it, whatever. You do your thing. Makeup is not a waste of time either. And what I'm talking about with makeup is like beauty, right? Guys like sports, quote unquote. I know a lot of girls love sports. My family, my mom and sister are big sports. Sister's a basketball player, and then there's plenty of guys that probably like to do that beauty stuff. But fashion even. An old roommate of mine, big fashion guy. He loves fashion. I always thought it was the stupidest thing. But you know what, man? I look back at it now and I go, dude, that's a way he uses to express himself. That's a way confidence. I mean, dude, he feels fly. When he looks fly, he feels fly. Look good, play good, a coach in my old town used to say. But I'm over it. Fuck it, man. It's not a waste of time, man. And Jackass Forever came out this week in theaters, and I think that's even a greater example. Like Jackass Forever, come on, man. It's called being a jackass. God, doesn't that sound like a fucking waste of time? I was watching some interviews about it and whatnot, and I watched an interview with Johnny Knoxville, and I can't remember. I think it was Drew Barrymore's show, but he was basically talking about how with his dad loved Jackass. His dad loved that he used to do Jackass, that Johnny used to do Jackass. And Johnny said that his dad used to own a car dealership. He's like, I'm going to tell you this. I think my dad owned a car dealership just so he could prank his employees. He's like, my dad was always pranking people, always pranking employees. Johnny shared a moment. He's like, I'll just be in the shower, getting ready for the morning, and Dad would pour an ice bucket over the shower rod. Like he just liked to mess with people, and that's where Johnny got it from. And he's very emotional talking about this. And then he mentions that, they've been in the process of making this film for a while, a few years, or maybe a year, whatever. It takes a while, right, to edit and do everything. And he said before he even told anybody that they was going to do a new Jackass, his dad passed away. And he said that really, his dad loved, like I said, he loved that Johnny did Jackass. And he thought it was so funny and free and XYZ. And he just regretted that he wasn't able to tell his dad that he's planning on making another Jackass. He knew his dad wouldn't be able to see it, but he just wanted his dad to know that he is doing it again. He is making it again. And just to see in Johnny's eyes, I'm getting emotional thinking about it right now. Something that seems so purposeless, so meaningless, so stupid. It's called Jackass. They're jackasses, right? Epitome of wasting time, quote unquote, right? But to see that it made a connection between a son and father, and you know what? How many people are entertained by it? I remember talking about Jackass is written in our fucking psyche, man. It's been around since the early 2000s for sure. We've talked about that stuff all the time. Wee Man's like well known among my friends. Like everybody knows who that fucking group is. So think about all the entertainment and laughs. It's just a laugh. It's a stupid little silly shit. Like Steve Martin was a great example. It's just a silly actor, silly guy doing silly jokes. They just Adam Sandler, just silly shit. But like, hey, it's not meaningless. It's not purposeless, and it's not wasting fucking time. 2 reasons, right? 1, for me, it's not wasting time because you benefited me and you made me laugh, so you're not wasting my time. And 2, you enjoyed doing it. You enjoyed wasting that time, quote unquote. So therefore, it is not wasting time. It's not wasting time. And I'm gonna finish up with this section about when it first started. This thought for me. So this thought for me first started, I think, about maybe a year and a half ago. 2 things happened to me in like a week. Basically, 2 people I really loved, came to me and we were just talking about stuff, I guess. And they just kind of woke me up to that thought. And, one was my dad, one was my father, and the other one was my buddy Frankie. He's been on the show plenty of times too. But basically it was Frankie first, right? So I haven't seen him in a while. I go over to his house and we're sitting there talking. It's just me and him. We start talking about stuff. And then we start talking about another friend of mine and ours. And he's a lot like me. And basically, Frankie just kind of says, and the whole reason this made a lot of sense to me is because this was at a time where I was working super hard, 16 hours a day, getting nothing that I wanted. Again, because I know it's a journey, it's a process. But I had no friends again. I was hanging out with no one because I was so busy working on my dreams. And that's okay. That's what your fucking dreams are. My dreams are not that. It really has never been that. I thought it's been that because I've never given enough to my friends to receive what I want to receive from friendship and camaraderie. I've never given enough of myself to love to receive what I want from love. So I go, fuck friends, fuck love. I'm going to be this most successful guy in podcast land. And then, it takes a decade to become a beast in anything. Let's just arbitrarily say decade. So no, it's not gonna happen overnight. So I would just stress. And it was something I dealt with in my junior year of high school, something I dealt with my freshman year of college, my sophomore year of college, junior year of college, senior year of college, and now again, my freshman year of adulthood. I've never heard that before, but here we are. Anyway, so I started asking him a little bit, talking about myself a little bit, and very respectfully, he talked about me and my friend. He goes, you guys, he's like, this is why, man. He's like, this is why we don't invite you guys all the time. This is why we don't always hang out with you guys. He says, you guys are too much. You guys always want to do something. You always have to be moving. There's got to be something new coming soon. Like, within 5 minutes, we got to do something new. Let's go drive. Let's go here. Let's have this person over. Let's go do this, blah, blah, blah. It's just all these little things that make us feel productive. And maybe in terms of the productive goal of being social, like I want to get as social as possible. And he utilized this line to me. He says, you guys just are too much. And he looks at me and he goes, you guys just have to learn to be bored with a bro. And that's what he said to me, was that line. And that was a great, Frankie, if you're listening to this, that was a great line. It's a line that sits with me, and it's a line that I think has sparked a massive change in my life about this understanding of what I truly want. And he's like, you have to learn to be bored with a bro. It's not wasted time if you're just sitting there laughing, talking, sipping on a beer, listening to music, enjoying each other's company. There's nothing wasted about that. But I thought it was because I had these other goals in mind. But now my goal is love. My goal is friendship. My goal is camaraderie. My goal is happiness. And this helps. My ultimate goal is happiness. And these things, my second tier priorities of family, love, communication, and camaraderie, it's not wasted time when I do that. Having those be my goals, they all lead to my ultimate goal of being happy. So for him to say that, it really resonated with me, if you can't tell. Literally, this was last summer. It was a year and a half ago. And he said that, and it changed my life. It changed my thought immediately. I went home and talked to it for my mom. Then I remember a week later, me and Dad, I think, were at the cabin, hanging out or whatever. And I think he was drinking a little bit. And he started talking about my brother. And he goes, Marsh, you know why Morgan has my brother? You know why he has such a large group of friends? And he's got and he's always doing something with his buddies. He goes, says Morgan can sit and chill all day. He goes, you can't. You got to get up. You got to do something. You got to be productive, quote unquote. Got to be productive. And half the things I do when I'm thinking I'm productive is not productive. I'm just fucking walking around. But I guess if it's not destructive, it can be productive. Whatever. That's a whole different conversation. But he goes, you just got to learn to be able to sit down. He goes, Morgan can sit down all day with his buddies, have a great conversation, laugh, listen to some music, fish, hunt, drink a few beers, have a good meal, grill, whatever. Like, he could literally just chill with people. He could be just... My fucking my future sister-in-law said the same thing. We were talking about vacations, and we used to take vacations. I think she went on like 2 vacations with us, and then we all got too old, went to college, whatever, stopped taking family vacations. But she's like, yeah, me and Morgan, we're good. Like, the nighttime comes, we'll just sit in the hot tub with a drink, and we're good. We could sit there for 4 hours. And then she looks at me and she goes, I know you gotta whatever, you gotta do your thing. And I'm like, No, I don't. I do. You're right. She's 100% right, but I don't want to be known as that. I don't want to be known as that because I'm never going to be invited. If they get their own hot tub at their house, and it's wintertime and it's Friday and they're done with work and they decide to go out in their hot tub, I will never get the ring to come and join them because they'll be like, oh, well, Marshal's, he can only sit in here for 30 minutes and then he's got to be like, I got to go do something. And I don't want to be remembered as that. I don't want to be remembered as that, and I don't want to have that stigma or that personality label because I don't care to get what that mindset does. That's 16-hour a day. I don't want that. I don't want to be lonely. Yeah, right. I want friendship and love, and I'm gonna be very successful in podcasting, broadcasting, and making videos. Whether it's making videos for myself or it's making advertisements or whatever videos for other people through Marshal Kramer Media. I'm going to be good at that, and that's going to be a huge purpose of my life and huge identity, XYZ, and it's all going to lead towards my ultimate goal of happiness. But, I don't want to be that guy that has no friends because he just whatever. And that's my choice, and it's your choice too. If you want to fucking be something, you know what it takes. So, yeah, Frankie and Dad woke me up to that. They said, Marsh, you gots to be okay with just sitting down, chilling, and whatever. And I said, well, again, I would have used the words again. You don't have to do fucking anything you don't want. Like I said before, you don't even have to breathe. You're going to find out in 90 seconds what's going to happen if you don't want to breathe, but you never have to do anything. You do not have to get a 9-to-5 job where you can be homeless. If that's your prerogative, hey, rock on. You can literally do whatever the hell you fucking want. But what I would have used was, hey, if you want to be invited to these things, this is what most people look for in people they want to hang out with, is those who can just chill. A lot of people just want to chill. And I go, oh, okay, so if I want to be invited to these things, I want to start having friends a lot and hanging out with people, and not feeling so stressed about, my time. I got to be doing something with my time. What I have to do in order to achieve that is this. So there are things you have to do in order to achieve things, but if you don't want to achieve certain things, you don't have to do shit. You don't have to be nice to people. You don't have to be respectful to people. Not going to have a lot of friends, I imagine, but if that's your prerogative, not have a lot of friends and just be mean and disrespectful, hey, baby, you do you, baby, boo. All right, well, that's all I had on that. And now, let's tie it all in and go into the greatest segment in the Minnesota News with Marshal Kramer. In the Minnesota News this week is actually news from my hometown. My hometown of the small town of Becker, Minnesota. So cool, bro. 2 days ago, before I found the Minnesota News on Reddit, and then I was like, oh, okay, I should look into this article a little bit more to see who it is, see where it is, just so I can get some more details so I can explain and make a better in the Minnesota News segment when I perform. And then all of a sudden it goes, it's a Becker resident. I go, wait, this is my hometown? It's not my home state. This is my hometown. A town that population sign says 45 or 4,500-ish, Becker football state champs and then Becker robotics champs, baby. That's on our sign when you enter our town. But Becker resident Paul Larkham has made a gigantic T-Rex sculpture out of snow in his front yard. It is the coolest thing, and since it's my hometown, on my way to my parents' cabin yesterday, I actually stopped in and I took some video and I took a picture of it so I could see it. It's actually really cool. I was the dumbass who decided to wait until it was a 41-degree day, so it was a little bit faded. I got some better pictures from other people than the videos that I took. It was a little bit faded. It was a little bit melted, but it was super cool. And I pulled up there right as a dad and his probably 2-year-old, 3-year-old son pulled up. So it was super cool. Took a picture for them. He thought it was so cool. He thought it was real. So I thought it was awesome, bro. Like, it was cool to see his smile. But this thing is amazing. And I don't usually, it doesn't have to be tied in. The Minnesota News doesn't have to be tied into today's subject matter, which is wasted time. But how much? This is the perfect thing. Wasted time. How many people could be driving through? There's two perspectives you can be driving through. You could be like, wow, look how much snow that is. That's just a T-Rex that he's making no money off of. That is like, this guy's probably a dad. He's got a job too. This guy just wasted so much time. Or, if you're not a douche, the better perspective, the one I'm holding is, wow, like how much time was he able to just utilize and free himself up, right? It's not wasted time if he's enjoying wasting it. Look how creative this guy is. Like, this is phenomenal job. And dude, it's dyed perfectly. The teeth, like, it's gigantic. It's literally so tall. It's literally probably 12 feet tall. He had to do this on a ladder. Like, this is so much work. It's so much snow. He had to do it in sections. Again, since it's in my hometown, I got a little bit of a inside thing. Brandon Abrahamson, again from my town, he told me that the guy does it just about every year, something different, and he's been building it for a while. Abe's would see it when he drives through town. He'd see it slowly get bigger and bigger. It took him a while. And then he said this year he decided to dye it. And he doesn't think he's usually dyed it, but this time he dyed it, and it's just so cool, man. And I talked to one woman. If you're not familiar with Minnesota, I talked to one woman. She's like, yeah, I was going to come out earlier, but it was such a nice day. I had to go take a walk. And I go, oh, yeah, where are you coming from? She's like, Richfield. Oh, Richfield, down by Bloomington, down by the Minneapolis airport, all the way out west to Becker is literally like an hour and 10-minute drive, maybe a little bit more. It's definitely an hour-ish. So that's insane. She went out there to do that and took some pictures, and she was FaceTiming her husband. She's like, this is really cool, And I'm like, yes, it is. It's actually really, really cool. So I thought that was a perfect one to just tie in with it. I wanted to, and I hope to get better. Again, this is where a producer would come in handy. Someone to email people and contact people. I got other jobs I got to do. Like, I literally have to make money in other ways too. So I just don't prioritize that time. But I did knock on the door. I already felt bad because, he made this for us, and he's letting everyone just walk on his lawn and take pictures. He doesn't care. He doesn't even have it. He did not have a donations box. So like a nice guy. Maybe he did. I just didn't see it. I did not see a donation box. So I felt bad about knocking on the door because I didn't want to bother him anyway. Other people probably done the same thing. But he didn't come to the door, so I couldn't get an interview. I want to talk to him about it because look at what he just freaking made. There is no way. There's no way that he doesn't create other art. I mean, this was very, very, very well done. And it's super cool. And it's in my little hometown. I'm telling you, it was on the main street. It was on the main street in Becker, which is Sherburne Avenue. It goes all the way across everything. Starts from Shell on Highway 10, goes all the way across to exiting out of town, past the golf course in Edgewood, and it goes all the way out. So it's a straight line, and it's a very small town. It's a wide main road, but no one ever parks on the side of the road. You'll never see cars parked on the side of 23. That is so weird. And there were. I knew exactly where it was because there's where the pile up of cars were, and it was super cool. So, time you enjoyed wasting is not wasted time. The Marshal Kramer Show. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode on Wasting Time. I hope you didn't waste your time because I certainly did not waste mine. Until next time, take care, my friends, and scoot boot, toodaloo.
Took all my pills, I'm at the